Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen. I love talking to creative people, and right now I'm really into theater people because I've written a play and I'm going to be putting it up soon, and it's all of that stuff. And so I saw a play recently in Los Angeles called For Want of a Horse. And it is about a married couple who face a big challenge in their relationship, which is that the husband is sexually and romantically attracted to horses. And they decide to let him explore that, to see if that will help their troubled marriage. And that's what happens, and things unfold from there. And it's a very provocative show. At times it's really funny. It gives you a lot to think about philosophically. It talks about, empathy and are there limits to it? And it reminded me of something my playwriting teacher, Bernardo Cubria, often says in class, which is that plays are arguments. And you get to explore both sides of things. And that was certainly true in this case and other sides. There's more than two, it seems like. It constantly kept you thinking. So I was able to get three people from the show on the podcast. We've got Olivia DuFault, the writer of the play. We've got Elena Luo, the director. And we've got Griffin Kelly, who plays Q-Tip. And Q-Tip is the horse that is part of this love triangle. And Griffin gives a sensational performance. The horse parts of it are not on the nose, but so evocative. It makes you feel like, oh, that's a horse. But also there's all these other layers to the performance. Just sensational. So before we get to the interview, though, I want to remind you that this podcast, Dennis Anyone, is brought to you by me, pretty much. I do it. If you like it and you want to support it, there are a few things you can do to help keep it going. You can help me cover my expenses by leaving a tip in my virtual tip jar. You can do that at DennisAnyone.net. You can also become a subscriber to my Patreon and Substack. It's Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. It's kind of a twice-a-month sequel to this podcast. I started out charging for it, but because I got this full-time job, I'm not doing it as much, so it's free. Go to Patreon or Substack and look for Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. You can also become a subscriber to DNR Studios. I'm part of a big group of queer shows, and you can get my show early for a monthly fee and all these other cool shows. So DNRstudios.com is where you learn about that. And finally, I am just pulled the trigger. I'm going to be mounting my play, which is now called The Point of Pinecones, at the Fringe Festival in Los Angeles. I got in just under the wire. This theater had 3 time slots that would work for me, and we're pulling it together. So the dates are June 7th at 11:30 a.m., June 14th at 7:30 p.m., and June 21st at 8:30 p.m. It's at a place called the Actors Company. They're all Sundays. It's $10. It's going to be somewhere between a stage reading and a show. We're figuring that out. This is a locomotive, and I'm just trying to hang on. You can learn about that at HollywoodFringe.com and just search for The Point of Pinecones. You can buy tickets. There's that. All right. So enough of the plugs and all the business. Here, let's get to the interview with the artists behind For Want of a Horse. Joining me now from various parts of Los Angeles are 3 of the artists behind the play For Want of a Horse. We have the playwright, Olivia DuFault. We have Elena Luo, who is the director. And we have Griffin Kelly, who plays a very pivotal and interesting character named Q-Tip, who is a horse. So welcome all of you to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right. So you're all smiles. You're all smiles, and your show is so fun and edgy and provocative. But we're going to start with Olivia so people can hear the voices and also get a sense of who's who. Where did the first germ of this idea come from? I understand it was a magazine piece, right?
Yes. There are lots of different places I can say originated, but one of those places was that a good playwriting friend of mine, Kiara Atik, sent me this 2014 interview in New York Magazine in a column titled Strange Love, which was centered on a man who had opened his relationship up with his wife to include a mare friend. And my response to the article initially was just like horror and delight.
Right.
And yes, because it was so absurd to me. And like, there was this, and I couldn't help but almost like laugh at the nature of it. And then the more that I read about it, the more I began to feel such incredible empathy for everyone involved, from the husband to the wife to the horse. And the more legitimately I took everyone's perspectives, the more heartbreaking and interesting it all became, and it really just raised lots of questions for me about the nature of empathy in particular.
Right. Are there limits?
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
when it's productive and when it's perilous. And that was a big part of what the play wanted to explore. And it also, so it stemmed from a lot of different things, but definitely part of it was just like reading that interview and having a really strong emotional response to it.
Yeah. Was it a long interview? I love New York Magazine, by the way, the best crosswords.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do a great crosswords.
Yeah.
It was like, it was, I'd say, it wasn't extensively long, but it was very earnest and intimate.
Right.
It's like cut to the chase. And, you know, I remember just like most vividly just the sadness involved in
right.
from those being directed from the man.
Yeah.
Yes. And my questioning of like, to what degree is it healthy for me to empathize with this, and to what degree is it dangerous for me to empathize with this?
Right. And we should go back a little bit. And Olivia, if you don't mind, how do you describe the story to someone who knows nothing about it?
You know, I like to describe it as a classic little rom-com.
Right. It's like Notting Hill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A sort of romantic triangle, save for the fact that one of the participants is a horse named Q-Tip. I also just say that it's a play that centers on a man, Calvin, who, along with his wife, Bonnie, decides that they need to open up their relationship to include a horse who he's been longing for almost the entirety of his life, and it explores the ramifications of that. And it's told partially through the perspective of the horse, Q-Tip, who is able to voice her thoughts to the audience, and yet is never able to fully communicate with or understand the actors that she's interacting with throughout the play.
Yeah. And the play takes the plight of all the characters seriously, and they all have you empathize with all of them in this situation, and as things continue to unfold. Elena, what attracted you to the project? What made you say, okay, I want to get on board with this?
Well, I think I have the same experience with a lot of people who watch it, which is that I've never seen or read anything like it before.
Right.
Reading it in some ways is even more jarring, because you're imagining, instead of seeing the lovely Griffin in front of you, you're imagining a real, like a horse.
Yeah.
As you're reading it. I mean, it's, and it's quite sexy. So I think that was quite the draw.
Right. It's not like he likes pictures of horses and wants to, like there are acts performed that you see. Griffin, what drew you to the story? How did you first experience? Was it the script given to you? Was it a conversation?
Yeah, about a year ago, Elena emailed me the script and was just like, I have something for you. Read it before you agree to anything. No context, did not tell me who I would be playing, but I was reading it while I was on the set of a Vertical, in between being some like dumb bimbo villain.
Right.
I would be sitting in the green room just reading this play about a guy fucking a horse.
Right.
And I knew without any context that they wanted me for the horse.
You just knew.
I was like, oh, naturally I'm supposed to be the horse in this. And it was so funny and weird and sad and smart.
Devastating.
And I think I like replied to Elena saying like, these are the emails I live for.
Oh, that's cool. And you're reading it on the center of a vertical. Like, isn't it the extremes of acting of a creative career? Like,
Yes.
You can have the most edgy, like, provocative art, and then you're like, you know what? I'll go do this vertical. And yep, that's what it is. That's what it is. And you do both, right?
And I remember just feeling like nobody knows I'm reading a play about horse fucking.
Right. And getting really excited about it, right?
Yeah.
You are so good. Your performance is so good. The physicality of it, the emotionality of it, the humor, like you do enough horsey stuff that like, oh, that's a horse, but you're not on the nose. How did you think about it? Did you spend time watching them? How did you approach it?
Yeah, I've spent at this point a lot of time studying horses, and I've been afraid of horses my entire life until getting ready for this play, because I was like, it's time to face my fears and give it my all. And so I just watched horses, and it really informed the staging of it too. Like, we would find ourselves in a bind during the rehearsal process. Like, well, how is this going to play out? And I would be like, well, what would a horse do? And that would kind of click it into place.
Yeah. Yeah. The performance is just great. So great. I was saying as we were warming up, I think before you all joined, that I have my first play. I'm doing it in the Fringe. Like 3 nights. I got in at the last minute, and it's got some sexual content in it that I think is pretty provocative for me. And most of the time I'm like, I'm into this. I'm good. I'm fine. And then I have these moments of like, what am I doing? Putting this on a stage. Did you have any of those moments where you thought, oh, what am I doing? Or did you always go like, no, this is it. This is what it's going to be. And, yeah.
I certainly did. Like, I find that the doubt really starts to creep in the closer you get to opening.
I can imagine.
Where you're like, what am I doing? Right. And I have to remind myself that I trust the people I'm collaborating with. And I also trust the version of myself that said yes to this.
Right.
And that it's just anxiety that is trying to get in my head, but that we all know what we're doing, and there's a reason we're doing this, and we believe in this. Right.
But once in a while, those fleeting doubts will just kick down the door, and then you have that moment. But yeah. Olivia, did you ever question what you were doing or how people would react, or were you always like all in?
Oh, no. I mean, I so relate to what Griffin said so eloquently. I think it's especially interesting because the first draft of this play was written 10 years ago. And so part of my relationship with it is also trusting the writer that I was at that time. And I obviously made additions since then, but I certainly, part of the experience was embracing and trusting the story that I wanted to tell at the time and how I was telling it. But then the other big portion was just trusting my collaborators. And every time that I saw Griffin or Elena work, it only further affirmed that we were moving in the right direction and this story was being handled really expertly.
Yeah, we were all in this together. We're gonna take the leap together. The night I was there was some uncomfortable laughter. There was some tittering and stuff, and you would kind of look around at the other audience members. What have you observed about the way people are reacting in the moment?
I've seen the show a couple times, and I think after we've opened, it's just been fun for me to watch the audience and see how people are reacting. We've had nervous laughter. We've had kind of nervous crowds, but we've also had crowds that absolutely are laughing their faces off. So it's kind of depends on the night.
Just depends on the night. Is there anything that surprised you about the way people are reacting, even after the show when they're talking to you?
I think there's always something new that someone has a new take on it. I don't think that I've heard. I don't think I've heard the same reaction. Oftentimes there's shock and awe and all that, but sometimes people think it's about certain things and other things, and there's always people come at it with different perspectives. And I think that's true for all works of art. But with this one, it's really interesting what sticks out to people. And it really makes you think, I think.
It does. And it's not super clear on what it wants you to take away. There's a lot to think about, but it's not like this is the takeaway. And I imagine, Olivia, that was by choice.
Yes. And more so than anything else I've written, I receive numerous emails from friends and strangers afterwards, inquiring about and voicing their own perspectives on the play. And it's so diverse, the various attitudes and takeaways and perspectives that people have towards it. And like, as you said, I definitely have mine, but a big part of what I want the play to achieve is to kind of leave the audience kind of staggering out, uncertain exactly of what to make of their own experience of what they witnessed and their own sensations towards the subject matter.
Yeah. So as being on stage, Griffin, what do you hear and see? I mean, obviously you're in character, but you can be aware if people are laughing, or what have you noticed about the audience?
Well, I have lamented this to the rest of the cast, but I'm the only one who has to confront the audience.
Right, you talk to them directly.
Yeah, a lot of my dialogue is directed straight at the audience, and like often to individuals, like bouncing from individual to individual as I'm like giving the monologues, that I don't get to shut out the audience reactions.
Right. You have to, you're going to be aware of it no matter what.
Yeah. I don't get to just live in the world of the play.
Right.
And so both the audiences that are really quiet and the audiences that are really loud, I have to like find a way to ground myself so that I can stay in the story and not let their response impact how I'm playing it.
Right.
Because I can see how uncomfortable people are, or I can see how moved people are, or how funny they think it is.
I think there's probably interesting facial expressions on the audience. Like, oh, this play is about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can see in the same moment, someone sitting there with tears in their eyes and someone who clearly wants to get the fuck out of this theater, like as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
It is a polarizing show.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. And you guys put it together beautifully. The other actors, let's get a mention in there for them. Joey Sternberg, is that who plays Calvin? Sensational. Jenny Sue plays the wife, and heartbreaking. And Stephen Culp, who I've seen in a lot of different things on television, plays a friend of Calvin's who is in love with a dog or having an affair with his dog. And the way they talk about it, it's like they just have a passion for NASCAR. It's like, it's wild. The play mentions this, and I don't remember the actual difference. What is the difference between zoophilia and bestiality when people talk about those two different things? Are they different?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
As zoophiliacs would
make sure we know. Yeah,
to want us to know the difference that is the differentiation is that bestialists are solely sexually attracted to the animals, whereas zoophiliacs claim that they also have a romantic relationship, an emotional relationship with the animal as well.
Right. Oh, so it's more dimensional. The connection. I had a guest on my podcast a few years ago who named Paul, and he designed a line of tarot cards that were all people in straitjackets, or him in straitjackets, because that's his thing. And, it was a thing, that's his fetish. And I remember he said to me, you don't pick your fetishes. And this is different than a fetish, but that idea of like, you don't pick them. So when you see a character like Calvin, you can have a lot of compassion for him because this is his thing. He didn't pick it, and he's trying to have a life. And his wife has some compassion and opens up the relationship. There's something devastating about it, because I don't think people pick things like that. I think they try to manage them, but I don't think, if you're turned on by a certain thing, you're not going to pretend that you're not. Like you can't just turn it off. I don't know. So that was something that was going through my mind as I was watching your play, and I saw it in Calvin's performance, that actor. Yeah, he was struggling so much. And the wife says, I don't want to be a widow. I don't want to be divorced. So let's try this. Yeah, just any thoughts on that idea of you don't get to pick some of these things about ourselves?
I mean, I'd say that was one of the central elements of the interview that stuck with me from 2014.
Yeah.
And that was part of the sadness with this man coming to terms with what his life was and would be.
Right.
Was pretty devastating to reckon with.
Right. I've been fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. And what if I don't fight it? And then what? You know, that kind of thing. Like, I imagine, did you work with an intimacy coordinator for some of the scenes with with Calvin and Q-Tip? How did you approach them, Elena?
We actually did not work with an intimacy coordinator, so I was responsible.
You were doing it. Yeah. How did you think about them? How did you do it?
Well, I will admit that during this time, my search history was included things such as horse genitalia.
Yeah.
I was looking at lots of diagrams of anatomy. Because I think even for like an intimacy coordinator, the body parts involved in this particular circumstance are a little different.
Right.
So I think it was just trying to make it realistic. So just thinking about what the mechanics of it would be, and then how we could represent that on stage safely.
Yeah.
Between actors.
Griffin, how were those scenes for you to work on and develop and to block and to figure out?
I mean, I think about when we first sat down to start talking about how we were going to block this scene, like holding up a script that we had kind of like bowed a little bit to be the shape of a horse genitalia. Right. And being like, well, so if he's behind her and then this is where and then he would over here and remember Joey.
You use what's handy. You use what's handy.
Yeah. Just Joey being like, hold on, I just got like full body chills. Can we take a moment?
Yeah.
So funny. And then when we get down to like the actual like physicality of it, my job was so easy. Like, because just thinking of it in terms of a horse, like it's all happening behind me.
Right. You're just sort of like, oh, yeah.
My whole job is to stand there and be a horse. And so I think Joey had a much more difficult task of selling it, whereas I was kind of getting a leg massage is what it felt like.
Wow. I read some other interviews where you both talked about this, about Q-Tip's intelligence, how smart to make Q-Tip, how articulate, how clever. How did you think about that, Olivia? And also, Griffin, how did you play it? So I guess Olivia first.
Sure. I mean, I have long written characters in plays that are non-human, be it animals or inanimate objects or like abstract concepts. And there's something that really attracts me to that in theater. And with animals, I grew up around lots of animals. I grew up in rural Massachusetts. And something that I always enjoy when writing them is to find like some central primal like theme or I don't know, subject that they are representative of, and give them the ability to talk in some grandiloquent way about it. Right. But also then have you just abruptly dropped into how incredibly limited animals' understanding of the world is, and how stupid they actually are. And like that contrast between like moments of great like wisdom of sorts and then incredible like inanity is really fun, and also really like speaks to, I think, what it's like to engage with animals a lot of the time.
Have you heard from anyone that relates to Calvin that would define themselves as a zoophiliac?
Or a zoophile.
A zoophile. That's what a zoophiliac.
I misspoke.
Yeah, no.
I know. I misspoke and I felt terrible about it.
Oh no, I don't. I was just guessing. I don't remember that you said it. A zoophile. Have you talked to anyone that would say that they connect to that?
I have, actually. I don't want to. I know. I have, Griffin. It's true. People have reached out to me. A lot of people reach out to me. I know.
Griffin's face is very shocked, as is Elena's.
Yeah.
No, but
we're gonna have an in-depth talk about this later.
Well,
I need to hear about this.
Yeah, but people do email me and express honestly gratitude.
Yes, nobody else is going to tell their story. Nobody wants to go near that story, and you guys all did. Yeah, and you did it with compassion.
So that's an interesting experience to have.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
wild. My playwriting teacher often says plays are arguments, and you sometimes hear both of them. And I thought of that as I was watching your play. But what was interesting about yours is, I think sometimes in that way, the playwright will come down on a side near the end. And I don't think yours was like that. It was more like going, here's the situation that people are dealing with. And let us sort of come up with our own feelings about it and try to process it ourselves. I think, I imagine that was kind of your intention, right? To give people just a lot to think about and to talk about with each other afterwards.
Yes, and not to give away the ending, but there is a particular moment at the ending that I think is intended to evoke even more consideration of everything that you've seen and conversation about the play.
Because I think I landed somewhere and then that happened and I was like, wait, I thought I was over here and then, but now I guess I'm not. So yeah, no, it's really interesting. And that's one of the greatest things I think about theater that you do. Now, Olivia, I know you work in television as well, on shows like Legion and Preacher. How is your playwriting different? How does it feel different? Does it feel like writing is writing, or are they totally different worlds?
They feel very different. And I'm lucky enough to also work in comic books as well. So I really enjoy working in a lot of different genres.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and in particular, I mean, I like to tell stories inside the genre that could only exist within that, in that medium that could only exist within that medium. And there are lots of things about For Want of a Horse that make it something that could never be adapted into a film or a television show or comic book. It is uniquely and perfectly suited for theater in particular, both in the nature of like the way that that Q-tip is personified as an actor, which wouldn't work nearly as well elsewhere, and just like the intimate structure of just kind of you living inside Calvin's brain for this extended period of time.
Yeah.
So I guess when working on plays, my experience in film and TV only like further exacerbates the sense of like, oh, I want to do something here that I can't do in this other place. Yeah,
it's uniquely theatrical in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Griffin, can you talk about the bond you would have with the other actors? Because I could see you on the first night of the show looking at each other and going, well, I guess we're going to go tell this story, right? Differently than it would be if it were just like a light comedy or something, you know? Like this sort of like, you're jumping off a cliff together, it feels like a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, luckily we all love this play so much.
Right. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. And I feel like we all understand the work, and I think we all have different interpretations of it, but we've all just had so much fun, and it feels really good to be a part of something that feels different than anything else that's out there. And so I think as an actor, as a theater maker, it feels like such a great opportunity that has been presented to us. And so we're very excited.
Yeah.
And a little nervous. We're like anyone we know in the audience. Yeah. Like my parents are coming later this month, and I'm like, okay.
Here we go, right?
Well,
for all of you, on the other side of that, is there something empowering about like, you know what? I did that play about the guy that like, I can do stuff. Like there's something I would think emboldening about it,
100%.
Making a bold choice. Like, how does that manifest? How do you feel it?
I mean, it feels like such a badge of honor.
Right.
Like on one hand, it's very funny because we're getting some really great reviews, And now I have all of these pull quotes that are like, she is so good at being a horse.
Right, exactly. And you know what? Top of my IMDb. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how useful that is, but it is very fun and I'm very proud.
Right.
But yeah, it feels exciting.
Right. And you also think about in terms of acting categories, like if you were going to get nominated for something, is there a best, I don't think there's a best horse category.
But if there is, I'm gunning for it.
You are gunning for it.
Yeah.
Elena, is there something empowering about it for you on the other side of it? Like, okay, I did that really challenging thing. I can do stuff.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's the extreme of it where it's like this, I think Griffin said this in another interview maybe, but this has ruined me for other plays. When am I going to have another opportunity to work on such a unique story with an animal character?
Yeah. It's good.
I think it's good. It's
good.
It's great. I think it's important to me to pick stories that I feel strongly about, and this is one that I feel strongly about.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, it feels really good to bring something that I care about a lot to life.
That's very cool. What about for you, Olivia? Does this feel like a badge of honor kind of feeling?
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes I just think about like the fact that I'll just be able to reflect on this in the future and be like, yeah, there is a horse fucking play that I wrote and somehow tricked the world through an elaborate ruse to put on. And it went and it was like a spectacular experience.
Yeah.
Like that feels like getting away with the greatest heist in the world.
Yeah. And it's a very elegant production. Like it's like the whole thing. I know Matt Richter, your lighting designer. I do shows at the Gay and Lesbian Center, and he's the best. And it's just it's just like stately and lovely and like artful and all of it. And then there's the story, which is really, really provocative and interesting. Olivia, do you ever cry when you write plays? I do. That's what I'm asking.
I totally do all the time.
Yeah. I'll be in a coffee bean and tea leaf just like melting down. And then I'll be like, okay.
I laugh at my own jokes and I cry at my own moments. I like, cause I write for myself. That's the audience.
Right. And, you have those experiences through all of it. Tell people how they can see the show, where they need to go. And then I have a few more questions to wrap up with. So, it runs through, you've got a few more weeks left. Yeah.
Yeah. We run through May 25th and it's every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays are at 8 and Sundays are at 4. You can get tickets at echotheatercompany.com, ER in theater.
I love that. And you were part of I wrote this down because it's like, I need to look into this. Venturous Playwrights Workshop. Is it Venturous? Did I get that right? It's for edgy stuff.
Correct.
Tell me about that. I'm intrigued. It's for edgy stuff.
So this was through the Lark Playwrights or Playwriting Development Fund, which sadly no longer exists. So alas.
You broke it. You broke it with your horseplay.
Exactly. But myself, Mike Liu, and another playwright who I think Susan Stanton, I believe, the three of us collaborated together about 10 years ago as part of this playwriting workshop where we worked on particularly provocative material. And this was the piece that I wrote during that time.
I love it.
So I took the assignment to heart.
You were venturous, that's for sure. When I talk to you guys, you look like you're fun and smiling and having a great time. It seems like you're having a wonderful time with this experience. Say it's 20, 30 years from now. What's a moment from this process that you're always going to remember that's going to stay with you? For any of you, we could go around. Yeah, go ahead, Olivia.
There's a moment where Griffin, I guess I'll say gallops, prances.
Yeah.
And the first time that I saw that section, I was just like delighted beyond belief.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And the audience feels it too. Because it's like she only has 2 legs, but it feels like she has 4.
Yep.
You know, it's that feeling, right?
Absolutely. And Griffin's performance in general,
good.
it's so fucking good, everyone. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yes.
And so, like, really, she brought that character and thus the play into life in, like, a dramatically, like, special and unique way, that the moment I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm beside myself.
We're literally off to the races. Yeah. Elena, what's a moment that you're always going to remember?
I really wish that I could say it. We probably have to cut it out because it has to do with the ending.
Oh, okay. That's all right. The ending.
The first time we tried the ending out, I think, was during load-in week. So the set was half loaded in, and we had a bunch of people milling around the theater, and then we were trying out the ending for the first time, and it was surreal. Yeah. And it was surreal, but it was also so normal. It was like everybody was, you know, we had people on their phones. Yeah. It was like such a as wild as it is still just everybody doing their jobs. Yeah. To make this play happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, because it's also a thing where you're like, okay, can this work? Can this work? And you're like, oh, I guess we're doing it. We're pulling it off. Griffin, what's a moment you're always going to remember from this adventure?
You know, barring the moratorium on the ending. Yeah. Eating the apples.
Yeah, because Q-Tip loves some apples. They're
Q-Tip sees the world in terms of apples.
That's all. Yeah, so you eat a lot of apples and you eat them very horse-like.
Yeah. Yeah. And every once in a while there's a night where I chomp the first apple and it explodes all over the stage. Yeah. And I don't know why or how, but every time that happens, it feels like true theater magic.
Right. I love it. It is very funny. And it's like, it does feel like a horse's mouth. And also apples are all different. Like some are really good. And then some are like, oh, I don't like this apple. You probably.
No, I said early on, do not bring me a Red Delicious.
No. What do you want?
We will have problems if I get a Red Delicious.
Right?
But other than that,
because they're not that good.
I'm pretty okay with whatever.
You're pretty okay with it. But Red Delicious, they lie in the title.
Whoever named them that has a pretty sick sense of humor. Sicker than anything Olivia could ever come up with.
I would never.
Yeah.
I almost wondered if I should be more demanding with their apple choices, because sometimes I'm like, the apple's not crunching the way that I want. And I'm wondering if that's a little bit too micromanaging as a director.
Maybe.
A little bit too much micromanaging.
Whatever apples they have right now, the one last night was so good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was like juicy and crisp. I loved it.
Yeah.
I think we got a fresh delivery last night, and I'm wondering if I can demand fresh delivery every performance.
Yeah. Maybe that's the situation. And then at the afterwards, you could say, how do you like them apples? That's so stupid. I'm sorry. I ended with a bad joke. But I have one more question for all of you. Yeah, like I said, I'm about to put my first play up in the Fringe, and it's thrilling and all of this stuff. And I'm very inspired by artists like you and being a part of it. My final question for all of you, why do you love theater? Why do you love it? Everyone's just your faces are like, these feelings are playing out on them, these thoughts and stuff. It's lovely.
I mean, I love theater because I love an escape. Like, just all media. Since I was a little kid, I'm like, I hate reality. Let me disappear into a book or a show or a play where I actually get to be a part of the thing I'm disappearing into. I'm like becoming the thing that is distracting me from the humdrum of daily life.
Right. You're part of the magic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about for you, Elena? Why do you love theater?
This morning, I was just thinking about how you have to be in a particular city to experience certain productions. And right. I think locality isn't really the word, but I'm thinking maybe the communal aspect of theater.
Yeah.
Because you're literally there in the space with the performers and you need the audience. The audience is, what do they say? It's like the last member of the cast or something.
Yeah.
But I think the way that it's a group experience of a work of art is really special and unique to this particular medium that I love.
Yeah, I relate to that. When I go to see a show, I'm just very moved by the ritual of it. Like, we're all going to be in here together and try to go on this ride and buy into this thing. And we've all made that deal. And there's something that touching about that to me. What about for you, Olivia? Why do you love theater?
Honestly, you took the word ritual right out of my mouth, Dennis. How dare you?
I know. Sorry about that.
No, it's totally fine. But honestly, okay. I was going to remark that it is like Lena was saying, there's something about, as I said, like I work a lot in different mediums, but there's something about being in the same physical space as these actors, making believe, and you're sitting there with a group of others, just like all communally engaging with it. That feels like the closest that I can come to some sort of like strange ritualistic religious type experience. And I think that, the same can be said sometimes when I'm even just like in movie theaters, but everyone gathering together to watch something together and experiencing it is something that I really love. And then when I'm involved in the creation of it, it makes that communion all the more special.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful note to end on. Congrats on the show. I really admired it, and it's been inspiring to me to see artists as brave as all of you doing something really unique and different and memorable. So good luck with the rest of the run, and people should go see it.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks, Dennis.
My pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
I hope you get the most delicious apples they can find for you, Griffin.
I had better.
Yes. Yes. All right. Bye. Thanks again to Olivia, Elena, and Griffin. Go see their play For Want of a Horse. It runs through May 25th at the Echo Theater Company. That's in Atwater Village. Learn about that at echotheatercompany.com. All right, so this happened. I saw a really fun play last night, actually. It's called Millennials Are Killing Musicals, and it's a musical, and it's at the Colony Theater in Burbank, and it has a very fun cast, and the premise is this sort of single mom is grappling with like how much to be involved in social media, and is it sort of corrosive, and the Instagram of it all, and three of the characters are like filters, are played by are depicting Instagram filters, and there's a villain called the Algo, short for the algorithm, and it's just it's fun and relevant. And my friend Danny and I went together, and our friend Ainsley Bubico is in it, and she plays a character called Jake's mom, and she does a great job. So anyway, it was cool to see that. And then the other thing I saw was I went to a 25th anniversary screening of the movie The Broken Hearts Club outside in the park in West Hollywood. The Greg Berlanti film. It was a benefit for a thing called Pride House, I believe it's called, and it's going to be an Olympic gay hub for the Olympics. And there was some people from the movie there. Greg Berlanti was there, along with his producer on the movie, and two of the actors, Billy Porter and Zach Braff. And I haven't seen the movie in a very long time. And so it was interesting to see if I remembered what happened and just what it felt like. And at the time, it was one of those first early movies. I did like that it sort of celebrated the importance of friendship in the gay community and your group of friends. That was kind of the heart of the piece. You know who I loved in it? Dean Cain. I know. But he's really charming in it, and winning, and vulnerable at times. And Zach Braff is really good in it, and it was his first big role. And he told this story about how when the movie came out, he was still working as a waiter, and the movie ran for a while at the Sunset 5 in West Hollywood, and so people would go to the movie and then go to his restaurant afterwards, and they'd be like, "Wait, you were just in the movie we saw?" And he's like, "Yep. Would you like some more water?" Like, it was like that vibe. But yeah. Anyway, Broken Hearts Club 25. Wow, wild. All right, that's enough for this week. I want to give a shout out to Oscar Rosario for mixing my episodes. My theme music is by Mark Daniels for Replacement Music. We'll catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.